Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 14 of the Hip Hop Orchestra Presents with me, Georgio Savvides, and I am joined by three absolute inspirational, amazing people in Mr. Kwame Kwaten, Nicola Charles, and Andrea Euell. How are you all doing?
Woo!
Now, for anyone, any up-and-coming artists, singers, producers, MCs, managers, A&Rs, you have definitely heard of the absolutely incredible Ultimate Seminar. And these three amazing guests are actually the creators of that fantastic seminar. And because of that, I do have a zillion questions going on in my head about how you all started. But before we actually get started, how is everyone doing?
We're good, man. It's an incredible time.
It really is.
It's an amazing time.
It's a serious time. There's a lot of things going on right now, but it's been a time to connect with the family, and so that's the positive side to it.
There is.
Let's hope, when we come out of 2020, let's just hope we can look back and see real positive change going on.
I really hope so as well. All about the positive changes of Antioch, really, definitely for sure. But you know what? Let's start things off really simple. And before we get into the Ultimate Seminar, I literally want to, because like I said, I've got a zillion questions to ask about how the whole thing runs and how you go with it. I wanted to kind of get your backgrounds on how you started in the music business, what inspires you, how you got started, and take it from there. Because I know that you, Kwame, doing a little background check on you again, especially, I know that you've worked with a few special guests in your life, haven't you?
A few,
yeah. So let's start with Andrea. I want to start with you actually, as director and co-founder of the Ultimate Seminar. How did you get into the music business?
Well, I started off in PR, actually. Cut a long story short, I moved to this really small bespoke agency that were kind of open-minded about clients. If we had a passion for it, we were able to take on clients. So I started doing like parties, like VIP parties for labels. And then, but prior, just take you back a step before then, when I was doing fashion PR, I met Kwame. So we're going back to, I don't know, Kwame, when was it? 23 years ago? I think
97, 96.
Something like that.
Wow.
96.
Yeah.
Many of your listeners weren't been alive.
They are, don't worry, they are.
So what happened was, at the time, we used to supply Kwame and his band with some clothes because I worked in fashion PR. And then I moved to this small agency and started doing these parties and kind of just built a really good network of people, and Kwame being one of them. And Kwame just called me one day randomly out the blue and had this brainwave idea to create a music seminar.
Brilliant.
Back in 98.
Wow.
And so it kind of really started from there. And within, I think Kwame was like, yeah, we've got to do it. We're going to do it in 3 weeks' time from now. This is just a brainwave, by the way. There's no formula. There was nothing, no plan, no blueprint.
Yeah, just a spark. Yeah.
If I'm honest. Yeah. So, and that's really how it started. Me, anyway.
Brilliant. Because I did actually want to ask how the whole idea came about, but that as a spark, that's fantastic. And how about you, Nicola? How did you get started in the industry?
So I started quite young, and I was like 15, 16. I'm from a small town called High Wycombe, and me and another good friend of mine, we started doing talent shows.
Oh, really?
Council started to call and said, can you come to our county and put on a show? It came into quite a big event across England. And at that time, because of our age and because of what we were doing, we got the interest of record labels. At the time when BMG was a solo company, they were our major sponsors. So they helped us get A&R to come and be judges. We had footballers, we had soap stars come and judge the finals for our shows. So that went on for a few years. And Kwame, a good friend called Stephen, he came to one of our talent shows, and then he brought Kwame to the final. I think he came to Kwame and said, look, I've got this group of girls, I want you to come and see what they're doing. And after one of our major finals, they approached and said, look, we'd like to support you in what you girls do, like what you're doing. So for a few years on, Kwame and Steve would help us to help really put our show out there, helped us to get A&R, came and judged at a few of our talent shows, and that's how I got to meet Kwame. And then fast forward a few more years, Kwame was doing the seminar. He approached me and my mate and said, look, can you come and put on your show at the urban seminar? And I was like, yeah, no problem. So we used to hold some of our heats at the event. And then from then, I started working more within urban seminar. And then, as you know, we had a break. And then, just like Andrea, I got a call from Kwame saying, Nikki, look, I'm looking to start this up again. Are you on it? And I was like, let's roll, let's just do it. And
that's brilliant.
In that situation, I was like, yeah, go get a venue, go get this, go get sponsors. By the way, we're going to do it in a few months.
Yeah.
And then from there, I met Kwame when I was 17. And then we've been doing the Ultimate Seminar, Cr8ing Vision, I'd say from 2010.
Yeah.
That's when we formed the company. And time, to be quite honest, has flown by. I keep forgetting how long it has been since we actually started Cr8ing Vision as a company.
11 years.
Yeah, and we've done a lot. So, and yeah, the company's grown. We outside of that, I'm actually an IT consultant.
Oh, really?
That's my main job.
Yeah.
So, and that's another thing I point out. We all have main jobs. This isn't our main job. This is what we do out of love for support and helping where we can to help people to get to where they want to get and achieve their goals.
That's brilliant.
But like I say, Kwame is a manager, Andrea's worked in PR, I work in IT, and between the three of us, we now do Cr8ing Vision.
That's really, I find that so inspirational that you get on so well. You've done some amazing things over the years as well. And obviously being a big fan of the Ultimate Seminar and Cr8ing Vision, I've been to obviously different events as well through Cr8ing Vision. I remember I went to one with Warner actually, where we put ourselves forward and we got to sit around with the head of Warner, I think it was.
Chairman.
Well, there we go, the chairman of Warner. And I think these kind of events that you put on, not just the seminar, but these really unique and personal events with these really incredible people is something I really admire. So I just want to say personally a big thank you to all of you for doing this for us, because I obviously like I said earlier, I'm a big fan. I've been to a lot of these events, the seminars and your events, and I've learned a shitload basically. I've learned so much. I have, because I'm the type of person that once he starts a project, I get obsessed with it. My whole life I've been obsessed with music, and it's free as well. That's the thing. It's free. I mean, I've looked into other, obviously, as you all know, that I've looked into other seminars, obviously before and after as well, and they charge a ridiculous amount for exactly the same thing. Sometimes not been as good as your one, and you're bringing in top A&Rs, managers, labels, lawyers, PR companies to the masses, and it's a free ticket as well. And what you get out of that is second to none. It's ridiculous what you get out of that. And so once again, I just want to say thank you all for doing such an amazing thing for us. So thank you.
I mean, I think it's a good point just to put in there, like you said, it's a free event and we literally do work for free. But one of the main reasons we're able to do this is from the support from major record labels and from different grant organizations. So we ourselves are grateful for their support to allow us to be able to do this and deliver the service as a team. So yeah,
that's fantastic. I did want to get into it in just a little bit actually about how in the hell you organize such a huge event, because it's not obviously I've obviously organized things myself in the past and it's been a nightmare, let alone doing something so big every single year with some of the biggest people in the industry. And we'll talk about some of the guests you brought on in a bit actually, but I just want to, I've got when you got a million questions in your head about how you get started and the rest of it. But I want to kind of move on slightly, and I want to go to talk to Kwame actually about how you got started, because looking obviously into your background as well, you've done some obviously ridiculous things, and I'm really keen to find out some more.
Wow. Where do you want me to start from? I mean, I'm conscious of time, but I'm going to get to it.
Okay.
So, I mean, really, for me, it goes band first, from band, really, I go producing, and then from producing, I go seminar events, etc., and then it goes management.
Brilliant.
So those are the hops. That's
Brilliant.
how it works.
Definitely, because I want to briefly talk about. I wish I could talk more, but I know time is of the essence, so I'll be quick. But I want to talk about some of the artists you supported with your band, actually.
Yeah.
Would you like to mention who you supported in the past?
Well, okay. All right. So yeah. Well, so the name of the band was De-Influence.
Mm-hmm.
And we were a bit of a band. So we didn't necessarily sell bucket loads. I mean, we did all right. We didn't sell bucket loads, but we were very good at producing people. So we ended up producing and selling millions that way. But and the other thing was live. Live, we were very, very good. Like, we won awards for live and stuff. So we ended up supporting, we call it the big three. So that's Michael Jackson, Prince, and James Brown. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, it's a big thing. It's a lot. It's a lot.
People, obviously, 3 of the peak. You said, like, I think that's like the Mount Rushmore of artistry. And for you being a band to support these artists, I mean, what was that like? It must have been an incredible journey, and you must have learned so much.
Absolutely. The only way you can learn to play in front of 90,000 people is to play in front of 90,000 people.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, but these things, all of these things, they're all moments in time. I mean, I can remember, us, the development of the seminar. The first one, 500 people, was it?
Mm-hmm.
It was 500. About that, 500 people. Tiny nightclub. The only
was it
reason
nightclub? Oh wow!
Yeah, was it Sound?
Nightclub. Wow.
Sound.
Yeah, in Leicester Square.
and the only reason we did it there was because A, they let us do it, and 2 was that we could, because it was in the daytime. And this is why seminars really actually went on to become a daytime event. It was because that was the cheapest tariff. A nightclub in the daytime is when you can get it cheaper.
Oh, wow.
So that's why we were there. But then we did that. That one went well. Then the next one went really well. And then it kept doubling every time. So it's 500. In fact, it's more than double the second one. The second one was Scala, I think.
Yeah.
And then
Scala. I love Scala.
2,000 odd people there. And then from there it went, I don't know, I think Hammersmith. And then from Hammersmith, we went to Barbican.
We went to South Bank.
Then we went to South Bank. And then it just was huge. It was huge, 6,000-7,000 people in a day. Got really, really big. And then when we came back, we were like, okay, look, what we want to do is we want to keep it compact, but then do things basically all the way year round as well. So we did the seminar, but then, as you say, all of the splinter events, of which obviously Andrea and Nikki are the, proper engine room, Because a lot of the time people see me and they're like, Kwame. And actually, I go, no. Actually, I've got 2 team players that are like George Best and Maradona.
Oh, there we go. And they really are. And it's so true, though.
I'm not George Best.
Whoever you want to say. Neymar and
Messi and Ronaldo.
Exactly, Messi and Ronaldo.
There we go.
So I'm just Neymar in the middle of those 2. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's good. It's a very, very good team to be a part of. And we've been in this for a while. As the music industry, I think a lot of the music industry, some of the music industry already knows. Has supported us for Island Record, Virgin, blah. There's a good few, the RCA, Ministry of Sound, that have supported us from dot. But there's another section of the community that are really just waking up to us. And they're kind of going, you know what? This is the place. If we want to find, new talent, executive talent, this is where we go. We are the behind the scenes kings and queens. That's what we do.
Yeah. And you deserve so much credit for what you do. Honestly, all of what you do is absolutely incredible. And you kind of actually answered a lot of my questions there, because I did want to ask actually how you found that first Ultimate seminar to now. And going from, say, as you said, 500 people to in a nightclub during the day to 6,000-7,000 people now, I mean, you must be lost for words about how much it's just evolved over those years.
I think if you take all of it,
mm-hmm.
you know, if you take all of it, it's kind of weird. It has worked. When we first started, it was just like an idea. But there's an idea, and then there's working the idea.
Yeah.
You know, and this is why I say Andrea and Nikki all important, because lots of people can have ideas, but you need like the team to actually enforce and make proper, and disagree with you as well. It's like, you know, and you've got to be able to stand your ground and whatever. So it's all of that goes into it. And if you take it all year round now, whereas before we used to have one event and bam, that used to happen. Whereas now we probably reach the same amount of people per year. We probably reach 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people per year still.
Wow.
But it's just with events all the year round. You know, if you take each event, if you take the focus group, if you take Ultimate Live, if you take all of these things, then easy.
Yeah. Do you use the same kind of approach in terms of how you organize all these events, or do you kind of use different approaches for each thing?
I think
so. I was going to say that.
The talk. In fact, I'm going to duck out now. It's the perfect time for you to.
Okay. But thank you so much, Kwame, honestly. Peace.
Bye, Kwame.
Bye.
So, and Andrea will probably add on to this as well. We treat every single event we do uniquely, because we're fully aware that the industry is always changing and the needs of our audience is always changing. So we actually take the time out to do the market research, making sure we're meeting the needs of people and what they're looking for. So while there is a set wireframe for what we do, we always focus on making sure the content is relevant to what's being required at the time. So,
definitely.
And I think
so go ahead,
we're also passionate. Without the passion, none of this would be possible. That's first and foremost for me anyway. And I think same for Nikki and Kwame. If you don't have the passion for it, and you know, we know why we're doing it and we feel passionate about it, that will give you enough drive to go through, you know, trying to get funding, trying to create new events. You know, if you haven't got the passion for it, forget it. It's just not going to happen.
Of course not.
You could be the best at doing something, but if you're not passionate about it, I think people can sense that.
Of course they can. I think because I've learned that as well, that I know that you're selling yourself first and then the product after, I realized. And like you said, if you're not passionate about what you do, then try and move on to something else that you are passionate about, because people buy into you first, then what you're talking about after. But like, kind of adding to what you said about how the industry is changing, because I want to find out your kind of views on that as well. How obviously you've both been in the industry for years now, and we all know that the industry changes so quickly now. What been the kind of obvious changes and the most drastic changes that you've seen in the music industry?
Nikki, do you want to?
Yeah. I would say not so much the industry, but it's more the artists. I think you're finding now that there's new initiatives, new brainstorms on new creatives and how to get your things out there. And people with the help of technology, which is forever growing, that is changing the way that the industry is working. And labels are having to adapt to that way of working. So, for example, you know, record labels rely a lot on CDs and everything else, but then as soon as we had the internet, it just evolved. It changed the way that things work. People don't need to now go to a cinema; they can stream, or you've got Sky. And the same with the music industry. You know, you don't now need to go into a shop to buy an album. You know, you've got Spotify. So there's a lot of things evolving. So it's about moving with the technology that's evolving as time goes on, and everyone's trying to keep up with that. And the new generation coming in, they're working with that.
Yeah, it's good for independent artists, you know, because they have an instant platform that they can utilize. Whereas, you know, back in the day, if you were an artist, you didn't have that exposure. Whereas now you can be your own PR. You can, you know, go and book yourself into a gig, you know, locally. You can build your fan base. You've got analytics to hand. You've got so much tools that you can use. And I think these days now as well, because of that, and I don't know if that's a positive or a negative, but labels now don't really, well, from my understanding, is that they don't look at development so much now. So they want someone who's almost ready.
The finished product, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, you know, sometimes that's great and other times it isn't so great, because from speaking to lots of artists and, you know, who've come through our network and we're still in contact with, they're amazing. They're super talented, but they get so far and then they just don't know what to do. So I think sometimes having, you know, internet access and streaming and this is great, and you've got to use it, you know, to the best of your advantage kind of thing. But at the same time, it can be very daunting. You come to like a brick wall and you don't know where to go next.
Of course.
And I think that's why what we do is so important, because even though we might not be able to answer everything for them, even at these events, I always say to people, build your network sideways. Stop always trying to go for someone who's already in the industry. You know, yes, that's great, and I'm not saying you shouldn't, but once you start building sideways, before you know it, one of you or two of you are already going to be in there that's going to start helping the next. There's so many changes, and the musical landscape is just changing all the time.
It is.
I think social media is playing a big part on things at the moment as well, because, you know, like I said, people have been innovative in how they're getting their music out there and they're being spotted, you know. So I think that plays a big part in what's going on now, and not just major labels, independent labels, people want to start their own companies. That's what they're looking at as a way forward.
There are a couple of questions actually I want to add to this as well. I'm going to send you a new link because our time's about to run out now. But stay right there. I'll be with you very soon. So going on from what we said about how quickly the industry changes, and especially with everything else going around the world right now, do you think this will have any kind of effect on the music industry as a whole, or do you see it as an opportunity for artists to use their creative skills and powers to create something really unique?
Andrea, will you go first?
Yeah.
So I think there's two sides for this. I think obviously everyone's been hit. There would have been concerts plans, you know, tours, live performances, interviews, promo, all that would have been put on hold, just not great for the industry. However, I do feel that if you're passionate about what you're trying to do, you're going to use this time and be resourceful. Maybe to prepare yourself to come out with a bang, maybe go out and write new music, or look at any promo that you might want to come out with, and how can you turn it into a positive way of working when we are out of the situation. I do believe that where everybody has been indoors, everyone's going to be fighting to be out. I think everyone's social diary is going to be busy up until probably end of 2021. And I think that's an opportunity for artists to take advantage of that, you know, get themselves out there, do live shows, do family events, to get your fans out there to come and support you.
Definitely.
I think also at the same time, while people have been indoors, you have little to do but to download music or to look at music, whatever else. So there is that side to it, and it's also a opportunity for people to maybe promote themselves on social media, on adverts, get themselves out there, you know, doing live interviews. So I would like to think that basically everyone's resourceful in this time, and that they're planning a big comeback, because there's a lot of people out here that want to go out and socialize. So
there'll be a lot of gigs to go to in the next
there definitely will
2021.
There'll be a lot of discounts going out there to get one out as well. So
it's true, there will be. They think of it. I didn't think of that, to be honest. Discounts.
Yeah, hotels, they've had to shut down. They don't need to get people in. So this is the time for artists to be like, right, you know, have me in your thing. Let me get people here. Let's, you know, let's all work together. So hopefully it will bring communities together as well. You know, let's have a live event in our area. Let's support the community. Let's get, you know, the economy back up and running. I do believe
new music.
Yeah,
definitely.
Lots of new music.
Yeah,
loads.
Yeah. Looking forward to what's going to come out.
Yeah.
I think now is the best time for music, because I was saying in the last episode with Rob Littlejohn, actually from BBC, who's like a brother to me. He's so amazing. We're talking about we basically got the whole world of music within our hands now. And the amount of music you're able to get out there, I think, is incredible. So I'm really looking forward to what's coming out in the future.
And also collaborations between brands and artists.
Yeah,
I reckon will be pretty huge because everything's had to go on hold. So people are going to want to keep pushing their brand out. I think there'll be a lot more collaborations.
I've seen some amazing things on social media. I've seen people who I know who are drummers partnering up with artists and creating a multi-Zoom session where everyone's performing in their area, but they're all in a room, you know, and, you know, that's something that would never have been maybe done before we were in a situation. So it's another avenue that's being created, and I'm sure someone will come up with some great idea on how to monetize on that new way of working.
I did something actually with my orchestra as well. We did a cover of Beyonce's Halo with my Hip Hop Orchestra. Like that, actually, where people in their own houses were performing live through singing through the string section, guitarist, bassist, myself and piano. And it came out so well. And like you said, if it wasn't for something like this, it may not have happened beforehand. So the creativity levels, I think, are through the roof now. And I love to see what people are putting out there. And I think it's incredible.
It is. Me being an IT consultant, I find it quite amusing because in my world, we've been Zooming for years. We have meetings all the time. So it was a bit crazy for me to see when we all went into lockdown. It was like, oh my God, we've got to start Zooming. What is this new way of working? I'm like, this has been around for time. You guys just went on this.
It's so funny that you said that, though, because literally before the whole lockdown situation, I actually put the word out months ago about doing something like this before the whole lockdown. And like you said, it's only now that people are forced to work from home that they're actually doing these sort of things now. So it's funny how these things like kind of force you to do these sort of things, isn't it? But sorry, did you want to say something, Andrea?
No.
Oh, so I thought you wanted to say something there. I thought you cut you off. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, my bad. You know, talk about sort of. I want to go back to the Ultimate Seminar in a minute. But I want to talk to you about your sort of the networking and what kind of advice you would give to people in terms of networking, because how do you think it's changed from before lockdown to now? What kind of advice would you give for networking?
Whilst you're in lockdown or just generally?
Well, actually, let's kind of do a two-parter. So in general, what kind of networking advice would you give to people, and what kind of advice would you give to people in lockdown?
I think generally pre-lockdown, if you're wanting to get into the industry, regardless of the career path, I think you just have to get your face out there because building and forming friendships is really important. So kind of get yourself to the right gigs, get yourself to events like ours, you know, and just, you know, be on social media, be active. I think
like-minded people.
Yeah, and, you know, accessing anything you can access, like we're saying, you know, from our events, you've got the seminar, you've got live, you've got music, surgeries, focus groups. They're great places to network with like-minded people. They are your peer group. They are kind of the next generation of the music industry. So I would say just try and get to as many places, get your face seen. That's what I would say.
That's brilliant. Thank you. That's really good. How about you, Nikki?
Pretty much what Andrea said. I think it's about being around like-minded people, also knowing how to treat yourself like you're the product. You know, you have to treat yourself as a product, create that brand, know what your brand is, know what the outward goal is, and then you know where to go next. If you haven't got an objective, it's going to be very hard to find the right place to be. So I'd say understand what you're trying to do first of all, be prepared, or, you know, have something to bring to the table. If you meet someone and you have nothing about you or nothing to show you're doing, then how can someone take you on? You know, so for example, yes, we do with artists, but we also work with a lot of people that want to work behind the scenes, you know, A&R, working in law, working in marketing. And we've put on events to support that pre-COVID. And, you know, they'd come and they would have their CVs, or they'd have examples, or they'd have their show, whatever they need to have to bring to who they're going to speak to. While we're in lockdown, okay, there's a new initiative now. People are getting used to Zoom. People are doing interviews on social media. There's a lot of platforms that you can join and be a community in, i.e., as crazy as it sounds, LinkedIn. There's all these tools that are out there that you should be aware of. And also these tools will take you from being within the UK to being international. And that's the big thing I think about being in lockdown, is actually force people to get exposure outside of their local community, because everyone's looking at social media. I see people that are just sitting in their rooms, sing a great song, but they're getting comments from someone that's in Australia. So, it's about understanding your brand.
Yeah, and using things like Instagram Live.
Yeah.
There we go, yeah.
The whole world is tuning in. We've started doing that during lockdown too. We do Music Business on Lock, and we do that every Monday and Thursday. And people that come in are from like Mexico, Canada, France, all over the world. And it's just, I think in a way it's a good time to be able to access more information like that and to build. You can even see who's coming up, who's talking. If someone's interesting, you can check them out, maybe follow them and message them. I still believe in building sideways. I think it's really important. Build your network sideways.
It's
even like, it's even like if you're on a Zoom call like this, now we've got our name, Cr8ing Vision, behind us. If you're an artist and you want someone to know you, because you might get that, to speak, put your hashtag on there, put your Instagram tag, put whatever it is to get yourself known. So it's, like I said, being creative in these times. You're going to have to find a different way to network, because you can't see someone face to face. So you've got to work out how to see someone virtual and what to make someone come look at you virtually.
It's so true, because adding to what you both said about sort of worldwide viewers, like this podcast has been downloaded in around literally the whole world, from obviously the UK to America, Australia, New Zealand, Mexico. It's literally all over the world. And to see, like you both said about seeing that sort of instant access of people who's viewing your work, it's incredible. And there's so many tools out there. And adding to what you said as well, Nicola, about what you said earlier about making yourself a brand first, knowing what you want to achieve first. People buy into that, don't they? People buy into you first. If you can't offer anything first, or if you don't know your own product well enough, then how are they going to buy into you? So I think what both of you said is incredible. So thank you for that. But I want to kind of add to that and kind of go backwards at the same time, because obviously with the Ultimate Seminar, it's all about the networking. And every time I've been to this Ultimate Seminar, it's always baffled me as to how you've organized such an amazing event. So I wanted to kind of go back and see where you begin in terms of actually organizing such an event. Where do you actually start to organize it? What things do you start with?
Late nights,
yeah.
Late nights and takeouts. Honestly, to be honest, I mean, that is really it. We have, we've been doing this for so long now, 10, 11 years. So like you said, we have a framework which we stick to. And then what we change is, making sure we meet the needs of whoever comes as an audience to our events. But we literally have to start it off by doing research. Is the seminar still wanted this year? Is there a need for it? If the answer is yes, what's the next step? Okay, let's see what's going on in the local economy, what's going on in the music industry, what's going on with people trying to get in there, not just at the artist level, behind the scenes, in the business level. Because, it's not just the artist that makes the music industry, it's the company behind them and the company behind that person. So I think that's where we really start to get things rolling.
Yeah, there's so many layers to put in an event on. It's not, I think people can look and go, oh, that looks all right, that's quite easy to put on. Yeah. But it really is blood, sweat and tears, because it's not just a one-off event, it's a reputation as well now.
Of course.
And the brand. So, I'm quite a perfectionist. So you always want to try and make it better than the one before. Nikki's laughing at me. But
she's on our tails every meeting. Can't lie.
There is pressure. There is I feel the pressure because I am a perfectionist. But I think we go, like Nikki said, it's loads of late nights. And there's, with events, people forget a lot of the jobs are quite boring to prepare.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Tell me about it.
They're such boring jobs. You don't reap the benefit till the day. That's why at the end of the day we're all like, hallelujah, we've done it. It was amazing. Like, so I think people that want to get into events, for example, don't realise how many little boring things. It's like a massive jigsaw puzzle, and everything needs to be put in. We all work on different timescales. Nikki's quite she's a night owl. Me, I'm not a night owl. So I'll get up early.
So I'm the same as you, Andrea. I'm a day person as well. So I love getting up early, working through the day, and then relax at night if I can. Obviously, I'll still do my late nights, but I'm just like you, Andrea. I can't do night things. Obviously, I force myself to do night stuff when I can, when I need to. But
and that's kind of leading me on to what's key is that we do have such a solid team of us three that lead and drive all of our events, and we ultimately trust one another.
That's a big thing.
So if I drop the ball, Nikki's going to pick it up, and that's just how we work. And we're more than friends. We're all family now. We've worked together for so long. So I think for us, it's kind of I don't know. To me, it just doesn't feel. It is hard work, but it doesn't feel it because I enjoy it. And I like my team, and I also love all the young people that we've kind of met along the way who work for us, who are runners at the seminar. So for us, event is too many layers to pick one or two. Because
that's why I wanted to do this podcast as well and talk to inspirational people like you both and Kwame, because like you said, you don't always reap the rewards until the day itself, and people don't realize the amount of blood, sweat and tears that goes on behind the scenes that people don't see. And I'm just trying to shine a light on people that if you want to do something like this, yes, it is possible, but you need to put in that work. And it's so much effort. It's so much effort. And like you said, though, when it's like, hallelujah, when you've finally done it and get the result, it's like, hallelujah, I've finally done it now. I thank God. But I did kind of want to lead on to that as well, actually, because you've answered actually pretty much most of my questions there. I did want to ask you both actually what kind of other advice you would give to people if they did want to put on sort of similar events or anything like this sort of size.
So, like Andrea said, we've all got different parts of what we do when it comes to putting on events. So from my side, I would say, and actually Andrew might agree with that too, because I think he's more big on improving every time we do it the next time around, is, you're going to make mistakes. And every time we put on an event, you have to evaluate it and then look at how you can improve and be open to critique. You might not like the critique, but that critique is going to, if it's constructive, will help you to improve the next time round. So I know from us first doing Ultimate Seminar, Andrea, we were running around doing things, being called. My name's getting called, Andrea's name's being called, and really stressed out. And fast forward now 10 years, it's like a smooth running machine. There's some kinks, and we have to always improve on it. But we've built a team of people. We've got volunteers that work with us. We've got a good business team behind us that supports us. Has allowed us to continually continuous integration, continuous movement and involvement into how we work. So I think the main thing is to be open to critique.
Definitely.
Because if you're not open to taking negatives about what you're doing, you're never going to learn.
Definitely. Because I've realized this sort of thing is, critique is so key, because I've noticed that a lot of people that they can't seem to take critique, and people are there to critique you, to help, especially if they want to help you, they're there to guide you along. And I realize a lot of people can't always take that, can they? I've realized, but I think that's really crucial to improving your overall game, I feel.
Events aren't easy. You have to really want to do it to get it done. Ultimately, that is it. Because going back to what I was saying, all those little small nitty-gritty jobs that are really mundane, you have to be as passionate about those, in order to get to, the event itself. So,
I want to say this, we do Ultimate Seminar, we have a pathway program, we have music surgeries. To communicate with all those people, they have very, very busy schedules. So it's not literally you're sending an email out and you're getting a response. We're talking about for one person, you're doing about 50 emails per person. You have a lot of patience, you know, and even you've got what you see in the front, you've got the business side behind the back. Everyone's got to tally up, you know, you know, everything's got to be in line, from your accounts to your branding to the day of the show. So there's a lot you have to consideration, and over time manage in a way that works, allow you to, you know, deliver a smooth operation in words, I'd say.
Yeah, because that's why I saying a number like 50 emails per person, for instance. That's why I admire you both so much with what you do, because like we said earlier, the people you bring into the seminar, they're not just your everyday people doing average jobs. They're literally top of their craft. Got CEOs, managers, lawyers. These are not easy people to get in contact with, which is why it just blows my mind how you're able to do this every single year.
That's why I always say one email is not enough. You have to exhaust all possibilities if you want to get that person. And we don't give up. Yeah, you can't. You can't. You really can't. And I kind of wanted to kind of lead on with that as well. And obviously, like you said, you've got a framework and you've kind of changed things here and there. Kind of up until this point, have there been any kind of routes you wish you could have changed or tweaked along the way when you've done things before? Or do you think it's better that you've done it this way and you've learned how to do it for the future?
I have no regrets, or, you know, everything has led on to something else.
Yeah.
Even if we started an initiative that wasn't successful, it doesn't matter. We learn from that, and it's led on to another initiative that has gone on to be successful.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andrea, I'll cut you off there.
And everything that we do is, you know, it's organic in the sense of we as a team create it together. You know, like Nikki said, sometimes we have a million ideas, and, you know, someone will go, actually, no, that idea is rubbish, I'm not doing that. But that's internal.
Literally.
Never let it get out. So you don't see, what you see is probably out of the 100 ideas, you see one of them have actually been born from that. So we have loads and loads of ideas. And the exciting thing about us being in quarantine is that we've had to look at things and say, okay, well, we can't go out, we've had to change our ways. And in a few months, hopefully, we're working on a new initiative to, you know, add to our brands. Again, you know, that's something, again, we talked about that before. But I think during this time, we've been able to go, okay, this is how we can really implement it.
Yeah. Actually, I want to ask you about that, actually. Because I'm like you both, where I've got a million ideas in my head about what we could go down. How do you have sort of regular meetings or discussions, or like sort of say weekly Zoom sessions, for instance, and discuss ideas that way? Or do you just send like a sort of linked email? I know emails aren't always the best thing, but do you have regular meetings to discuss potential ideas for the future?
Don't email Kwame. He doesn't read off.
No, we have I mean, gosh, Andrew, I think I speak to you morning, in, and night. we are in, like Andrew said, we're like a family more than just friends. We have a WhatsApp group, which I can guarantee there's not a day gone past there hasn't been at least 10 messages in that group.
Yeah.
And, you know, then when we're in events or throughout the year, we'll go to those houses, you know, we'll meet in town, because sometimes, you know, we're working in London, you know, so we see each other a lot and we speak a lot, and it's just because we're in COVID situation right now, we're now using Zoom. But prior to having Zoom, we would actually have meetings face to face. We never had meetings via Zoom or Skype. It's always been face to face.
That's brilliant.
And we're now trying to plan a meeting face to face.
Yeah. We all miss that face to face now, don't we?
Yeah.
We all miss it. But I want to kind of obviously add a bit more to the Ultimate Seminar. I think I've got one more question and then we'll wrap it up. Obviously, going throughout the years, you've had some incredible guests featuring such as Stormzy, Kanye West, Cr8ing Vision. Have you both had any sort of personal favourite guests appear at the seminar?
Gosh.
Or any that might surprise you, that I might have given some amazing advice, thinking, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, sometimes it's hard to be able especially Nikki and I, we don't get to sit in the auditorium and listen to everything. So that would be really hard for me to say. But there are some people that I love, and I don't mind having them back, because they're really engaging and they've got charisma. Like, I love Paul Spraggan, the lawyer. Like, he is obviously got a very serious job, but he says it as it is, and that's what I like. And that's, I think, we like to pick people that aren't going to candy coat things.
Yeah,
you know, let's be honest and let's have a frank conversation, so you, the attendees, can get a real insight. So for us, I think I like Darkus. We've had him about 3 times, I think. Well, over the years, loads of times, because he used to speak when he was A&R. He was an A&R guy at Ireland back in the day.
He supported us as well throughout the years.
Yeah, who else? And I love it when we manage to get artists really early before they break. Yeah. So those that really, really, we call it like the marathon because it's such a long, intense day, but those that manage to hang on to the end when the artists come on, I mean, they get to see people, like you said, Stormzy, Mabel
as well, yeah.
JP Cooper, Jacob Banks. I mean, the list is endless. Yeah. And they get to see those really early in their career. And I think that's always really nice because you kind of go, yeah, we spotted those. We knew there was something about them.
Yeah.
I don't think I have one particular favourite, not personally anyway, but...
I don't have a favourite. Yeah, I don't have a favourite, but what I do like, and this is what I love about practically everyone that comes and sits on our panel, is when we contact them, as you know, they've all got very busy schedules and we appreciate them coming out and giving their time to support us. And they don't have to rush off to go somewhere else. Literally, I'd say 9 times out of 10, they're there the whole day. They do not leave.
They're in the green room.
Yeah, they're in the green room, they go and they meet with the audience, you know. We would normally get security to assist us and get people from the main room into the green room. And we find them saying, no, it's okay, we're fine, we'll stay here. And I love that.
Yeah.
You know, and there's some great stories. You know, Dark has been one of them. At the time, he was president of Island Records. He was sat in the audience. No one knew who he was in the audience. And he was chatting to this guy next to him, and then it was his time to go on the panel, and Kwame made this big announcement, and he's got up, and this guy's just gone, I was sat next to him. And and that's what I love about people that come and support us. They don't come with the whole VIP. They come to really provide support and to help wherever they can. You know, we've had lawyers come, we've had random people come and give up their cars. Call me, let's have a conversation. You know, come, I'm going to give you a apprenticeship role. You know, that's the best thing, I'd say. So for me,
and I love the nuggets as well, Nikki. The nuggets that we get from people that
we get
like Banks and Ranks last year. I mean, you know, they've had how many top 10 hits now, etc. And they just said it took us 15 whole years to get our first break.
Yeah.
Because people assume that, you know, you just worked on it for a couple of years and that was it. You know, so I love the little nuggets over the years that you get, the really key little nuggets. They're always really fun to hear and inspiring, really inspiring.
I like, just as addition to that, I like it when we have people that are also behind the big names. So we had one of Adele's writers, you know, come along, and no one knew who he was. But then when they heard what he did, they're like, oh my gosh, this is who you are. So that is what I love. I love it when we have people in the panel that you would have never seen in your life, but actually are the driving force to the people that you're trying to be. And then when you see the people's faces in the audience, they write something like, wow, okay, the light bulb's just switched on here. You know, this is where I get my information from. And then they're like, well, actually, if we didn't come to the Ultimate Seminar, we didn't come to music surgery, we wouldn't have the opportunity to even meet these people. We didn't know you existed. We didn't know that if we spoke to you, you could actually help us to get to where we want to get to. So again, there's no one person. Everybody brings a benefit and, you know, brings that extra little touch to what we do. So, yeah, but I do love the fact that...
Going on to what Nikki was saying, I mean, I remember key writers like Jimmy Napes and Fraser T. Smith. Not knowing who they were, because this was, I mean, Jimmy Napes was a good, I don't know how many years, I've lost track of years, but, you know, a good 5 or so years ago. And and Fraser T. Smith as well. And you just think, when are you ever going to get that opportunity to really hear their backstory, to be able to ask them a question, get some advice and insight? So yeah, we can't have one favourite. There's just too many.
Yeah. Adding to what you said about those little nuggets we get for people, I remember there's been a few amazing ones that I heard. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what they were, but these little snippets and nuggets that I heard from the A&Rs, the artists themselves, and thinking it just hits everyone just like that, doesn't it? And you see the whole audience going, "Oh wow!"
Yeah.
I love that reaction. Everyone has that exact same reaction. So it's just the little nuggets, the little spark moments that gets everyone going. So it's really good. But but I just thought, before we go there, I was supposed to say once again, thank you both so much, and to Kwame as well for everything that you do, both for the youth and the up and coming artists and so forth, and keep up the amazing work. So thank you.
Thank you for having us.
It's brilliant. We appreciate it.
Thank
I
you.
will spread the word.
Definitely, thank you. But before we do go, though, is there anything else that you would like to sort of showcase or promote before we go?
I guess just look out for a new initiative coming soon, and hopefully an ultimate seminar announcement for this year. We don't know for sure yet because, you know, the situation we all find ourselves in, but there's more to come.
Definitely.
We'll be finding a way around it. If we can't do it physically, we'll be there online somehow.
Brilliant.
More information, go to www.cr8ingvision.com.
I'll leave the link below, don't worry. Thank you. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you both so much again for taking the time to see me. And I hope you have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.